Hi, today I will be talking about solving rectangles, squares, and rhombi. Remember that all of these figures are under parallelogram. This is our quadrilateral family tree where this rectangle, rhombus, and square are all under the parallelogram, which has two pairs of parallel sides. And in additional information, one pair of parallel side is a trapezoid, and then no parallel side is a kite. All of these polygons are under quadrilateral. So first, I will be talking about properties of rectangles. A rectangle is a quadrilateral with four right angles. So all of its angles are measures 90 degrees, and both pairs of opposite angles are congruent. So angle A is congruent to angle C, angle B is congruent to angle D, and it all the properties of a parallelogram is present in rectangle, because remember that a rectangle is under a parallelogram, and also if a parallelogram is a rectangle, then the diagonals are congruent. Conversely, if the diagonals of a parallelogram are congruent, then the parallelogram is a rectangle. I have here a rectangle ABCD. So our diagonals AC is equal to the other diagonal BD. Example, they intersect at E. So our AE is equal to EC, and our EB is equal to ED. The same as AE is equal to EB. CE is equal to DE, and the others also. And again, if we are given with the measure of angle BAC, this one, and then we are asked to find for the angle DAC, this one, all we have to do is to subtract 90 and the measure of angle BAC, because all of the angles of a rectangle is a right angle, so it measures 90 degrees. Additionally, if we are given with this angle BEC, and then we are asked to find for the angle BEC, so this one, for example, the BEC is 72 degrees. Then we are asked to find the angle CEB. Remember that the sum of the interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. And then angle CEB, EBC and angle ECB are congruent. So we will subtract 72 from 180, that will give us 108. And then we also divide 108 by 2 to get the measure of EBC and ECB, because they are just equal. 108 divided by 2 is equal to 54. So this one here, BCE, is equal to 54. And then if we are asked further or more complex question, ECD, this one, I will use another color, ECD, so we will just subtract 54 from 90, because remember, this angle C measures 90 degrees. So I have here a quadrilateral ABCD is a rectangle, and then we will need to find for X and Y. So first X, so all our X's is 4x plus 5 and 9x plus 20. So our angle DAC is equal to 4x plus 5, and our angle CAB is equal to 9x plus 20. So we will find for X. Remember that angle A is a right angle. So if we will add our DAC, which is 4x plus 5, and angle CAB, 9x plus 20, it should equate to 90 degrees, because this one, angle A, is a right angle, because a rectangle has all of its angle equal to 90. So by simplifying, we have 13x plus 25. So we have 90 minus 25. 13x is equal to 65. And our x is equal to 5. Next, for our y, we have the measure of ADB is equal to y squared minus 1, and our DBC is equal to 4y plus 4. So this one, since AD and BC are parallel lines, so and this diagonal, if we will extend our line, this diagonal cuts the parallel line into a transversal, so we can say that this angle ADB y squared minus 1 is equal to angle DBC 4y plus 4. And then by simplifying and by solving, we have the value of our y is equal to 5 and is equal to negative 1. We will reject negative 1 because it will lead us into a 0 answer. So we will accept y is equal to 5. So our x is 5 and our y is equal to 5. And then furthermore, if you are asked to find for the angle measure of DBC, so angle DBC, the measure of angle DBC is equal to 4y plus 4, and you already found out that your y is 5, so you can easily find for the measure of angle DBC, which is 24 degrees. Don't forget the degrees. Next is a rhombi. A rhombi is a square is a special type of parallelogram called rhombus. A rhombus is a quadrilateral with all of its four sides congruent, the same as a square, and all of the properties of a parallelogram can be applied to a rhombi. And then for the squares, it is both a rhombus and a rectangle, and all the properties of a parallelogram, the rectangles, and the rhombi is present in a square. The properties of a rhombus, the diagonals of a rhombus are perpendicular, so they form a 90-degree angle. And then if the diagonals of a parallelogram are perpendicular, then the parallelogram is a rhombus, so it's just a converse of our first property. And then each diagonal of a rhombus bisects a pair of opposite angles. If we say bisects, example this one, our line segment BD, it bisects our angle B. That means if our angle B measures 30 degrees, then ABD is equal to 30. The same as CBD is equal to 30. You may pause this part in order to read the properties of a rhombi and a square. I have here rhombus QRST, and then the measure of our angle 3 is y squared minus 31. So we will find for y. Okay, this one's very easy because again, the rhombus, the diagonals of a rhombus, is perpendicular. So this 3 here, angle 3 is a right angle, the same as this part, and then this part. So we can say that measure of angle 3, which is y squared minus 31, is equal to 90. And by solving, we got y is equal to positive and negative 11. So we can consider both answers because if we will substitute the negative 11 to y squared minus 31, it will still give us a positive answer. So we have two answers for y, positive and negative 11. So again, our angle 1 and angle 2 is equal because the diagonal bisects the angle. And then QR, RS, TS or ST, and QT measures the same. Our diagonals, the QP and PS are equal, the same as PR, and PT are equal. And then you just use the other properties to solve for the other missing. Just remember the properties because they are important in order to understand the problem, and then find for the missing values of your quadrilateral. Next, I have here Rhombus QRST again. We will find for the measure of TQS. So this one, you put a label in order to know. If the measure of RST is equal to 56, so this RST is equal to 56 degrees. Very easy. Why? Because the diagonal bisect an angle. So if this is 56, so the half of it, 56 divided by 2 is 28 degrees. So our RSQ is 28 degrees. Our QST is equal to 28 degrees. And the same as it applies to the opposite angle because the opposite angles are congruent. So our RQT is also 56 degrees. And then the missing SQT is equal to 28 degrees. So the measure of our TQS is equal to 28 degrees. Don't ever forget the degrees for the angle. For the sides, it depends on the unit. If there is no unit, then leave the whole number as your final answer. So for our square, again, it applies all the properties of a parallelogram, a rectangle, and a rhombus. So I have here a square law which diagonals bisect at U. So remember that the sides are all equal. The angles measure 90. And then the diagonals form a perpendicular line. They bisect each other and they're equal. So if this LU is equal to it is equal with UV, and our UO is just equal to UE. So I am using for one line because they are all equal. And then the diagonal bisects our angle L. So if this is 40 degrees, this is also 40 degrees. But it depends on the situation again and on the given. And it may not be equal to 90, but all the angles is a right angle. But if you're given with on the other case 40 degrees, and then you will find for VLU, and then there no other given, you will answer 50 degrees. And what else? Our diagonals are perpendicular, they're equal, and that's it for the squares. So I'm flashing again the quadrilateral family tree in order for you to memorize and remember the family. That's it. I hope you learned something and you can apply what you learned from me to your next activities. Thank you.